who stood out on offense and defense. I'm gonna say Rob Gronkowski stood out on offense. Obviously, he had half of Brady's touchdowns. Brady only had 3 touchdowns. Gronkowski had 2 of them. They came at big moments of the game. They really put the game. They gave him a big lead to start out. And I mean, Gronkowski returned to his old self. Like, he looked like the old Gronkowski again. And on defense, obviously, there was a couple of dudes, man, that really stood out and they shined. But I'm gonna go with Shaq Barrett. He had sacks, he had pressure, he had hits, he had hurries, he created turnovers. He was just all over the field. I think Shaq Barrett stood out, and it was consistent. It wasn't like he just did it for 1 quarter or 2 quarters. It was every single quarter. Shaq Barrett was in Mahomes' face, and he was a major factor to what that defense looked like. And I think he was my standout player. What was my biggest takeaway from this game? My biggest takeaway from this game would be Tom Brady is the GOAT, but also this defense was really underrated. You know, this defense was really underrated, but Tom Brady being the GOAT, doing something that's never been done before, putting himself really, to me, on the Mount Rushmore of sports figures, and just setting himself apart from every single other person that's ever played football, ever. Like, he is the greatest football player of all time. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. And I don't think it's even close. I don't think it's debatable. When was the turning point? There were a couple of moments. I didn't write them all down because this wasn't a Packers game. I wasn't even expecting to do the 5 W's, but because I'm here and I just wanted to, take up some more time and see who wins the MVP, I'm going to do the 5 W's. And I'm going to say the turning point, maybe the turning point was at the end of the half when they had a chance to hold Tampa Bay to a field goal, and then they jumped off sides, and the very next play, Tom Brady hits Gronkowski for a touchdown. Okay, that was a pretty big turning point. Or it could be one of those Patrick Mahomes turnovers. I mean, they got a couple interceptions off Patrick Mahomes, so it could be one of those. I don't remember them specifically, but I'll go with the Brady to Gronkowski play at the end of the half. Where would I place this victory on a scale of 1 to 10 for the Buccaneers? I'm going to give it a 9.8. I'm going to give it a 9.8. You know what I'm saying? And I don't give out 10s, man. But I mean, and maybe I'll give it a 9.4. No, I'll give it a 9. Fuck it, I'll give it a 9.8. And I know some people are going to say, the referees had a big hand, played a big part in this. And maybe they did. Maybe the referees did play a big part in this. But outside of that, I mean, they completely dominated one of the best offenses in football. Yeah, Mahomes was kind of hobbling and around, but they held these guys to... Mahomes has never lost a game by double digits. He's never been held to single digits. This is the Super Bowl. They had 2 weeks to prepare, okay? They held these guys to 9 points. They got multiple sacks. They got pressure on him all day. They held Travis Kelce to almost irrelevant. No touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, irrelevant. They didn't score 1 single touchdown. They didn't let up 1 touchdown. The defense played their ass off. Tom Brady did his thing. They ran the ball. They threw the ball. They were efficient. They were balanced. Coaching, excellent. 9.8. I mean, a perfect would have been 0 points or maybe 3 points. But other than that, it's a 9.8. It's the best score I've given out all year. Why ultimately they won the game? Ultimately, they won this game because their defense was lights out. And I almost gave it to Tom Brady. Ultimately, I was going to say they won the game because Tom Brady's the GOAT. But ultimately, they really won this game because their defense just played lights out. And yes, Tom Brady's the GOAT and Tom Brady's the greatest ever. But fuck, anybody could have goddamn put this performance on. I mean, this is the kind of game where you could have won with Joe Flacco. You could have won the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. That's how great this defense played. You could have won the Super Bowl with fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick, probably. You know what I mean? Like, that's how great this defense played in the Super Bowl. So there you go, man. There's the 5 W's. Super Bowl edition. Who, what, when, where, and why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9 in the Super Bowl 55, Super Bowl LV.
Puda, you the GOAT, boy.